What's up, guys? Welcome to Fantasy Smack Talk. I'm Dustin. It's just going to be me this week. It's a long story, but Brent couldn't make it out. But don't worry, he's okay. It wasn't another laser tag injury. But we had some questions in our forums about some guys that might be good buy low guys or sell high guys right now. So I got 4 of each for you. Let's start with the buy low guys. A lot of times it's injured guys that are the best ones to look at here. First one, Noah with the Bulls. He's only going to be out probably another 2 to 4 weeks, but he's going to be there when it counts the most. It's a great time to try to buy him low. Next, Eric Gordon, another hurt guy. He's been playing amazing this year until he got hurt. He's going to be out about 3 weeks, but depending on what team in your league owns him, they might just need a healthy body so they don't keep digging a hole if they're down towards the bottom. I say you try to get Gordon cheap if you can. Moving on, Aaron Brooks. He has not been able to find his shot since coming back from his injury, but I think he'll find it, and I think he will eventually take that starting job back over and be a great points and three-point specialist for you. Great time to buy him low. Last guy for buy lows is Andre Iguodala. He hasn't had that great of a year. He's been banged up, but he's starting to put up some decent stat lines. I think it's a good time to try to buy him low. Let's talk about some sell high guys, and let's start with 2 Portland guys, and that's Aldridge and Batum. Brandon Roy said he's going to come back this year, or going to try to come back this year. He's probably going to be out another 3 to 6 weeks, and he is going to hurt these guys' value. Their value is super high right now. If you can trade them now, like I said, they're going to get hurt a little bit when Roy comes back, and that's going to be right around playoff time. I say try to sell these guys for full value right now. Next, we got Andrew Bynum. He's been playing pretty good lately since coming back from his injury. I think give him another week or so, see if he can get a couple more good games under his belt, and then try to sell him high because he's an injury risk, and he could definitely go down at any minute, and they might be limiting his minutes towards the end of the year just to keep him fresh for the playoffs. Another guy who's an injury risk is Kevin Martin. He's been healthy all year, but he always seems to miss about 20 or 30 games in recent years. I think he's a ticking time bomb at this point. I think you trade Martin now before he gets hurt. Let's move to the waiver wire. Let's start with the guys who we think are worth a look in most leagues. We'll start with Carlos Delfino, only on about 30% of leagues. He's finally back from his concussion. His minutes are already up there pretty high. He's having some decent games. I think he's a good gamble. He's a great guy for threes, and he does fill it up across the board. Next, Tracy McGrady, only on about 35% of leagues. Look at this guy's game log if you haven't seen it. It's pretty amazing. He's worth a shot. Pick him up, see if he can keep this up. If he can stay healthy, why not? Moving on, Greg Monroe. 40% of leagues he's owned right now. This youngster's really starting to show some signs of maybe being able to hold on to these minutes for the rest of the year. We'll see how Ben Wallace fits in, but if you're looking for a rebound specialist, he could be your guy. Next, we got Amir Johnson, owned in about 60% of leagues. His minutes have been a roller coaster this year, but lately he's been getting pretty good minutes and decent stats across the board, and what I love about him is his percentages, really good percentages for Amir Johnson. Next, we got Troy Murphy, only owned about 55% of leagues. The trade deadline is less than a month away, so that's the longest you'll have to wait him out. I think he will end up playing somewhere this year. Obviously, they want to get him out of New Jersey. If he lands in the right situation, he could be a double-double guy for you and a great pickup. Next, Kendrick Perkins. He's already been picked up in about 25% of leagues. Boston centers have been banged up all year. They're going to look for Perkins to play a decent amount of minutes. I don't think he's going to do much more than maybe 8 and 8 with a block and a half, but if that's what you're looking for, Perkins could be your man. Moving on, we got Ryan Anderson, only on about 60% of leagues. 11 straight games he's scored in double digits. Now, he's not going to play a ton of minutes. He's only playing about 25, but he's taken full advantage, and he will knock a 3 or so in there as well. Not a bad guy to have on your team. If you guys to take a look at in deeper leagues, we got Omri Caspi with Sacramento, only on about 20% of leagues. He's starting now. I don't know if that's going to continue once Garcia comes back, but he's a good gamble. We'll see what happens. He gets a decent amount of rebounds for you, and you can start him in the guard spot. Next, we got Evan Turner, only on in about 45% of leagues. I really got a hunch that he's going to get things going sooner rather than later. He's been all over the place this year, but if he can continue to get the consistent minutes, maybe even sneak his way back into the starting lineup, I think he's a great gamble. Next, got Mario Chalmers. He's the new starting point guard out there with the Heat. He should be able to get you at least 5 or 6 assists, at least a 3 or so. He's not going to score a ton of points, but in deeper leagues, he's worth a look. Then we got the worst #1 pick of all time in Kwame Brown. He's actually looked pretty good lately, only on about 15% of leagues. Take a look at him in deeper leagues. Who knows if he'll keep this up, but he's definitely worth looking at and maybe picking up. And the last guy is Tony Allen, only on in 5% of leagues. With OJ Mayo missing the next 10 games, Allen's probably going to get some extra minutes, and when he's had minutes this year, he's put up decent stats. So take a look at him. Could be a great short-term solution for you. So that's it for our bi-weekly basketball show. As always, get into those forums if you got any questions, and Brent and I will be back in a couple weeks.